Today's MMA Tea Company Fighter Spotlight is with Elise Reed. Elise is the current CFFC strawweight champion. She will be defending her belt at CFFC 97. That's going to be on May 29th at the 2300 Arena in Philadelphia. Elise, thanks for joining me today, and appreciate the time.
No, thank you for having me.
I wanted to start with kind of your background. I know. You're in the military. You also played two Division I sports. It seems like you've been very busy for a very long time, and also very dedicated to a lot of things. So take me back before college, before the military. Where does that determination and dedication come from?
So I've been doing martial arts at Kickside since I was 6. So that was, I want to say 1997 where I started, and I wanted to be a Power Ranger. If we're gonna be really honest, really frank. So that's what got me into martial arts, and then I think as I was not very good. So if anybody thinks that this was like I was a prodigy at 6 or 7, you can talk to John Canabe himself, my coach, and he'll tell you that I was not very talented at all. But I just kept showing up, kept coming, to classes, and I think really what changed that in terms of a passion was when I started teaching and teaching others at probably 13, 14. And then I did that. That's really been my only job outside of the military. I did that till I graduated high school, and then obviously I went to VMI. But I really liked the discipline that martial arts had. I liked how it challenged me and how you had to kind of analyze it, because you have people that are righties and lefties, and you had to be good at both sides. And so, and then we went into teaching. So I think I gained that understanding of being regimented, being dedicated, disciplined in that regard. My grandfather was in the Air Force for 28 years, and so my dad kind of grew me up, giving me that as an option in terms of how to convey or bring what I have in martial arts to other careers, and the military was a really strong second. And then of course I realized I can do both, and so that was kind of the best of both worlds. But I think that's ultimately what brought me into my career at VMI, and kind of gave me that love and passion of martial arts.
And it sounds like, you said you started at 6. So, martial arts has literally been a part of your life since probably you can remember. And you were teaching at 13, 14 years old. What were you teaching, and then like who were you teaching at that time?
So I got my black belt around 12, 13, and then I started helping out. At 14, I was able to have a job there. And again, I wasn't saying that I was very good at all, right? I'm still trying to figure out myself at that point. But we start teaching the kids, so probably 6 to 10. And then as you get better, probably 16, 17, I was teaching adults. So, before I went to college, I was more or less, Mr. K would be like, okay, you're it for the day, and I'd be the head instructor. And so now I'm teaching the kids, I'm teaching the adults, I'm teaching other instructors how to teach. So it really gave me a huge learning curve, so to speak, right? Because in martial arts, as much as you can dedicate yourself, a way to get really good is to have to convey that to other people. And so I think that's what helped me make that huge jump to where I'm pretty good at this point.
Yeah, I think most people would agree with that. And there comes a certain understanding, right, of whatever martial art it is, that I don't think people who just trained and never taught really can wrap their heads around how well you have to understand a certain technique or a certain thing that you have to then teach, like you said, a lefty, a righty, somebody who may be really athletic, and somebody who may have never played a sport in their life. So
Right.
is that the kind of understanding that really for you mentally started to make things click in terms of putting things together?
I think most definitely. I mean, the teaching initially, again, I was a kid. I just wanted to be with my friends, and I wasn't getting paid to do something that I really like to do. I mean, you can't say no to that. But I think I was reading Angela the book Grit,
Mhm.
and Angela Duckworth, and so she's talking about how, the people that are really good aren't just the people that do it for a week, but they find more detail and more information from the same subject matter. And I think, teaching for me and having to articulate one move 7 different times to 20 different people really made it something interesting. And then you're going into, I love teaching. So you go into how a class works, and you're trying to build content without really telling them what they're learning, and you're hiding your real intention. I mean, there's definitely is a level of understanding. And for me, obviously, as a Taekwondo practitioner, more or less, in MMA, I can't just do Taekwondo, because then, I'm out of luck, right? So it was really taking how I understood and how I broke down martial arts and Taekwondo and put it into, okay, so now you're doing MMA. How is it gonna, change for grappling, takedowns, and clinch work, and all that other stuff? So I think my brain is definitely heightened in terms of understanding in that regard.
And it seems like, just sitting here talking to you, it also seems like you're someone who really enjoys kind of the grind and the process and the overall journey that martial arts presents. Is that correct?
Absolutely. I mean, and I would say that in terms of anything. So in high school, at 15, I was already a second degree black belt. I was already like living it, loving it, living it. And I decided as a sophomore that had done maybe summer league swimming,
Mhm.
which means I'm not very good at that either, right? Probably got last place and everything. And I said, okay, so I know how to do it with martial arts. Let me see if I can do it with swimming. So I went and I tried out for the swim team my sophomore year in high school, the second to last slowest person. My coach knew who I was and knew that I knew how to work hard. And she's like, okay, let's take a chance and see how it goes. And I made varsity my first year. So, I mean, and I ended up being captain senior year. So really what it is, it's a process of understanding like how to get better, right? And a lot of times it takes a lot of grit, it takes a lot of determination, and just the process is 90% of it. I mean, if you don't like training and all that it involves, you're going to be unable to like take it all in. And so no, I love it. I did the same thing with water polo. Water polo, I had no idea what the game was in college, and she asked me if I knew how to swim. I said yes, and that's how that started. So I mean, I think we find new challenges, and we actually grow best when we're in positions that we don't know. So I always welcome opportunities that I may not be the expert at, and that's part of the fun. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah. And martial arts, especially mixed martial arts, I've heard a lot of people talk about it in the cage, and then also just in grappling and in jiu-jitsu, is the feeling of getting comfortable being uncomfortable. And it seems like all of these different things have kind of taught you that mentality of, yeah, I'm out of my comfort zone, but let me settle in here, let me get comfortable, and let me just realize this is going to be a process.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think I'm more an adult now. I wouldn't say
Mhm.
that I'm like old adult, but I'm more of an adult now, and I'm realizing that 90% of the adults don't know what they're talking about. They make it up as they go. And so I think I just learned that at a really young age. If you just fake it till you make it, you pretend like you know what you're doing, or you go in there confidently. That's half of the battle, and then you understand the problem, understand where you're missing, and then you just fill in those gaps, and that's a secret to success. But no, absolutely.
And it's an interesting transition too, right? Because you came from a very traditional martial arts background. So at what point in your mentality and in your career were you like, all right, now I'm going to fight MMA in the cage, I want to actually go fight, possibly be on TV, make money, make this a career?
Ooh, well, that's a really slow progression. I would say I've always been really small, and so with that, I'm always fighting bigger people. And with Taekwondo, it's always kicks, which means I always had to go inside and throw punches. So I really liked competing. I did well at tournaments, and I pretty much told Mr. Guys like, hey, I think I'm pretty good. Let's see how it goes MMA wise. And it's just really been a journey for both of us in terms of actualizing like what this is. I mean, and within the last year, nobody knew who I was, and now I'm a defending, CFFC champ. So I think it's been a crazy journey, but it really was just testing ourselves, kind of like what I've done with everything else. Okay, so that worked out. Let's pick it up a little bit. Okay, that worked out. And obviously, Mr. K and I love analyzing and kind of getting into that training mindset and what needs to be fixed and filled. And so I think this has worked out really well. So I'm not planning on going anywhere, but I also didn't necessarily expect this to be something I'm talking to you about, 5 years after college, but I can't complain at all.
Sure. And it's not like, for you personally, it might not feel like as fast or as meteoric of a rise as it might to some other people who weren't following your career. But you started fighting as an amateur in 2013, so you've put in the time and you've been working at this for a long time. So for you, you probably feel very, very comfortable in your style, very comfortable in the cage, even though some people might look and see, well, she's only 3-0 as a pro, but you've got that experience and that amateur background as well, and fighting a lot of amateur fights where that's where you really build your style and build the way that you want to fight. So now you get to show that off and show the fans of CFFC, like, this is who I am, this is what I'm bringing to the cage.
Yes, and absolutely. I mean, it's all been kind of like a little bit of a joyride, especially as an amateur. We were just kind of going in there, taking whatever fights we wanted. And at this point, you're completely accurate. I feel very comfortable with how I am. Honestly, I think I'd love to show more. I mean, I know spin kicks and jump kicks, and I'd love to be able to throw some of those together in the cage. So I think what I'm focusing on is showing what I already know that I know in those type of environments. And I think that's what's exciting to me is, I've already done fairly well in my career. And now I feel like you're going to see some stuff that you'd be like, okay, yes, here we go. And that's what I'm kind of looking for.
I can't wait to see, what you pull out next. I want to ask about this upcoming fight with Hillary on the 29th. It seems like, except for, in your pro debut, everybody that you fought has had a decent amount more pro experience than you. So what do you know about Hillary? What are you thinking she's going to come into the cage? And then, without giving too much of your game plan away, what can we see from you in this upcoming fight?
Yeah, absolutely. So Hillary Rose, yeah, so my last 2 fights were 4 and something, all winning record. I've oftentimes been fighting up. This is one where she's obviously 5-2, really good fighter. I think she's very, very well rounded. I think she has really good striking and obviously a ground game as a brown belt. I don't know exactly what she's gonna do. I want to say that she's gonna want to strike, but I know that she also has a ground game, and I'm a proud blue belt, but so she might want to take me down. In terms of what I'm looking to do, I think in all fights, it's to be able to employ your game plan best. As I've kind of mentioned a little bit, I'd like to show off some of the stuff that I know I can do. So I would like to get it done in under 4. That's really my intent. Is make it a little bit of a war, and kind of showcase my other talents that we haven't necessarily seen yet.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to seeing them. I'm sure a lot of other people are who are going to be, in attendance and also watching the stream. Before we cut it off, just wanted to give you a chance to, shout out anybody that's been helping you out along the way. I know you've been training at your gym for a long time. You have, supporters, sponsors, things like that. So I just want to open up to you for that.
Yeah, no, thank you. I appreciate it. So John Canabay, my coach, Kickside Martial Arts, the 2 schools that him and I own. Obviously, without my team, and all those supporting me, it wouldn't happen. I know MMA Gossip. I have Dr. Thiel that's been a sponsor for a long time. Obviously, MMA Tico, great little addition there, putting that stuff together. So I'm just really grateful for all the people that have been there before all these interviews, and I'm grateful for all those that are jumping on and helping me take this a little step further.
Excellent. So like I said, we're very excited to see you fight. That's going to be CFFC 97, Reed versus Rose main event. That's going to be on May 29th to defend your CFFC strawweight title. Good luck and looking forward to speak to you afterwards.
Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you.